It's nearly impossible to find authentic Mexican food in the US, so I flew all the way down to Jalisco to learn from a Mexican celebrity chef. And within 5 minutes, I realized we've been doing it completely wrong in America. The first stop of the day, we went to the butcher to pick up all the meats for all the dishes we were going to make. Then we got some charcoal and loaded it up into our private car from Tequila Trujillo, which we were using to get around in the day. Then for our next stop, we went to the center of the town to go to a legit tortilleria to get some fresh tortillas for the tacos we were going to make. These were probably the freshest tortillas I've ever had. They were doughy, salty, and honestly just the perfect tortilla. Then for stop number 3, we went to the local fruteria to get all the vegetables we were going to need for the day. Secured the goods, then jumped in the car and went straight back to Tequileria Trujillo to get started because we had a lot of work to do. The first thing we did was prep the molcajetes by grinding them with rice, and then we got the fire started, and then it was time to start the salsa prep. So as you can probably guess, the first thing I was going to learn to make is an authentic Mexican salsa, but not just any salsa. This was going to be a drunken, fire-roasted salsa, also known as salsa borracha in Mexico. But before doing any more work, there was no way we were going to continue the day without having some drinks first. After all, we are in a tequileria and it's past noon, so there's just no excuse. I can't quite remember what it was called, but it was some sort of like a lime and smoked cinnamon concoction. All I know is that it was really damn good. We thanked the bartender, gave him a big hug, and then went straight back to work. The next thing we did was throw the molcajete directly over the fire because we needed to heat it up for our salsa. Once it was blazing hot, we threw a little bit of oil, all of our garlic in, and started crushing this up along with the jalapenos, and then all of our tomatoes, and then threw in our sliced onions, and then this salsa was almost done. Add a little bit of salt, and then lastly the secret ingredient, tequila. And I don't know if I was super hungry or the margaritas were hitting, but this has to be the best salsa I've ever had in my life. Next, we started prepping some of the lime juice for the aguachile, and we quickly realized that there was no way we were going to do this ourselves. Then we chopped up some cucumbers, and then into our molcajete, we threw in some serrano peppers with the seeds removed, a little bit of salt, and crushed this up until we had a nice smooth paste. Then we added some lime juice in the mixture, mixed this up, and then moved on to prep our Mexican wagyu. And I didn't even know Mexican wagyu was a thing, so the list of things that I didn't know about Mexican cooking just kept on growing. Seasoned those up with just salt, and then threw them onto the grill for about 2 minutes per side, got a nice medium rare, and then it was time to assemble our aguachile. This was some cucumbers on the bottom, along with some red onions, and then some raw shrimp, some cooked shrimp, some of that wagyu steak, and then some avocados, and then our lime and serrano mixture, along with some salt and cilantro on top. If you're a fan of Peruvian ceviche, I have bad news for you. This might be better. And for our finale, we're doing some loaded tacos, or as Chef Toño calls them, tacos intergalácticos. These are loaded with chorizo, steak, and shrimp, all cooked over the fire. With this, we're also throwing our tortillas directly over the fire, along with some local cheese, and then it's time to assemble the tacos. We loaded these up with the freshly grilled steak, shrimp, and chorizo, along with some avocado and some of that homemade salsa, and this is ready for everybody to try. These were absolutely insane. I learned a ton, and I'm eternally grateful for this experience. Huge thank you to Tequila Trujillo for having me out there, and for Chef Toño for teaching me the ways.